Man, welcome back. We're here with another video about another very controversial topic, a little bit political today. We're going to talk about gun control, especially specifically about we're going to watch a no jumper video about Adam talking about his views and this one girl's on gun control. So let's see how it goes. Real quick. 1 second, y'all. I'm doing a video right now. I'm gonna call you back, okay? All right, let's get to work.
They should have guns.
I agree. Wholeheartedly.
I do too.
Even children.
I dislike guns.
She's from a soft-ass country where nobody shoots each other.
They don't even have guns out there.
They do it real intimately. They stab each other.
Yeah, I just think guns
Just
are so
girly.
impersonal, like if
Have you
I'm
been to
gonna
the gun
hurt a
range before?
person, I want to be this far away as I shank
I don't
you.
think it was like they
You
want to
know?
hurt. It's more protection.
Yeah.
It's protection versus like wanting to hurt
You
someone.
been
When was
to
the
the gun
last
range
time
before?
you heard someone protect someone with a gun in the news?
All the
It's
time.
been
That happens very often. It happens. Even just showing a gun sometimes isn't protection enough. I don't know if people understand that though.
All the time.
It's
No,
so many
like,
videos out there. Did y'all see that one video
literally
where
for
that
New
guy
Year's,
followed
like
him to
New
the
Year's
house?
Eve, all I'm seeing are videos of people just shooting their guns in the air, and then like the next day there's like, oh, boy gets hit from bullet falling from the ground. Like most people are not showing
That
off
happens
the
once a year.
protection.
Yeah, that's a miracle
skills.
right there.
Like
How
a
the
protection
hell did that
skills
happen?
of a gun.
Stuff like
right?
that.
Like
That
no
happens
one,
like
no
once
one
a
is
year.
like,
That's
oh my
once a
god, I'm gonna take this picture so everyone knows how well protected I am and how much I'm gonna protect my family.
That's me.
Like
All the
check
time.
me out.
Facts, like don't fuck with me.
No. When you're saying you don't fuck with me, I don't feel like that's you saying like I'm a defender. I think that's
That's
you
how
trying
I
to show
am.
you that you're tough. I think it's aggressive.
I think you.
I will say I think she's talking about more about young people, but I think everybody in this room looks like they're older than the age of 30. So obviously I think when you're 20 years old, having a gun is more about an aggression thing. But once you get to an age where you have a family or you really have things that are like valuable to you, I think you realize like this gun is to protect me if someone else has a gun or if there's someone who I physically can't stop. And I think she's just lacking to that.
You're wholeheartedly misrepresenting why Americans want to carry guns, because for 99% of guys that I know who have guns either like in their fucking possession at all times, by their bedstand, etc., you would never know. They don't flex them on social media. You might, yes, you see like extremely visible examples, like, when a rapper gets shot or when you see a crazy robbery happen when somebody follows somebody home from the club or whatever. But for the average American, they're not posting their guns on social media. They're not NRA members. They're not like showing, it's not a flex. It's just, from my perspective, if you're a man and you live in Los Angeles, just for example, and you don't own a gun and you have, women and children living in your home, you're really not doing what you're supposed to be doing to protect them, because you're in a situation where anybody could run up in your house and take whatever the fuck they want from you. And that is that statistically super likely to happen? I mean, not really, but we see it happen all the time.
Facts. It happens, especially in LA, man. Like LA, very nice city, very hospitable city, but it's grimy out here too, man. People do crazy things.
All the time.
Could you not protect yourself without a gun?
No.
That is the dumbest. Look at her. This makes me almost want to stop watching the video, man. This makes me really almost want to stop watching the video, because this just shows this is somebody who's never even been around somebody who has a gun before, who really doesn't understand that the minute somebody up that thing on you, you stuck. What you gonna do? This ain't a movie. I'm not James Bond. I'm not finna. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. That's a dumb question.
No, not against if you're like there's been
Why not?
videos.
Why not?
So if someone breaks into your house with a gun and you're going to what, pull out a butterfly knife?
They
The
might be
problem
stronger
is
than
that
you, physically
the problem
stronger than
is
you.
that you're scared someone's gonna rob you with a gun.
Right.
So you need a gun
I've been
to
around that
protect
gun
yourself
point.
against a gun. And this is the whole thing about Americans and guns that the rest of the world laugh at.
We just gonna do what the Detroit dude do.
Well, we just
Flush
Like-
the gun out their hand.
Okay.
You know, like it's like that thing where everyone's just like, yeah, the school shooting thing, like, you know, we should do to like stop school shooters. We should arm all the teachers with guns. Like, that's the American solution.
Now, who said that?
Like.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people saying that, but okay.
But that's
in
what
America,
I'm saying. It's like, because I can get robbed with someone with a gun, I need to have a gun. But you know, it's gun safety, so I'm gonna put this gun in this safe.
I like your
with
idea,
this thing
and it ain't
because
no safe. I like your idea of
to get it.
like
So,
the idea that America could just like not have guns.
Oh, no, that's
that
impossible.
would be lovely.
it's
There's
not
almost a
happening.
billion guns in America. Many, many, many hundreds of millions.
Guns will never get banned in America.
Yeah,
It's not happening.
And realistically, every bad guy that I know has a gun.
And
So
then-
it's pretty much upon good people who want to protect their family and themselves to have a gun or some other way of protecting themselves, because the situation of somebody busting into your house is so common.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll say even outside the situation of somebody busting in your house, it's some me being a bigger man, I purposely don't get into it with smaller people. Cause me personally, I feel like if someone who is smaller than me is willing to talk all this thing, it's not because they're willing to fight. It's because they got someone that knows going to put me in the motherfucking dirt. You know what I'm saying? And so at that point in time, that's when I feel like me personally, because it is not that I'm scared to fight, I don't want to fight. It's that I'm not finna, off the hope that you're a good person, off the hope that you're sane, off the hope that you won't hurt me, leave my fate in your hands.
I live in a nice area and I have multiple guns stationed all over my house.
That's how it's
And
supposed to be.
Facts.
just recently, and I thought that when I moved to a nice area that this would probably not be the case, but it turns out it is the case. The other day I'm on fucking LA Hood Media or whatever on Instagram, and I see a house that looks kind of familiar, and I realize that 4 guys with guns ran up in a person's house maybe a mile away from my house, which
That's
is to say
crazy.
nothing of the fact that like Pop Smoke got killed like a mile or two away from my house. But again, people ran up in this person's house, and I'm not sure exactly even what happened, but I mean, you have 4 armed robbers run up in his fucking house. That could easily happen to me. I have a big ass gate outside my house, sure, but I mean, how likely is that to stop somebody? If somebody's really ambitious, they're hopping the fucking gate. I don't know. If you don't have a gun in your house in America, I think
You guys have the
tripping.
Citizen app? You see how much stuff happens?
I was downtown this morning. I just posted it. It was like somebody just got robbed 500 feet away.
Nah,
I'm like, what
seriously,
the
it's
fuck?
like popping up on the hour, every hour. People are getting robbed, stabbed, all types of stuff.
And it's a crazy state of affairs because we just had everybody yelping about like, oh, let's defund the police. Crime has gone up so much worse. I forget what they said. Murders are up like 100% more for this year than they were last year. The crime is at its all-time.
I do want to say I don't think that's specifically just about guns or defunding the police. I think it has something to do with COVID. I think people really being sheltered and being forced inside their houses, it kind of brings out the worst in people, you know? I think it's just like you threw a bunch of people outside of their regular day life, changed their everyday life, and gave them time to do whatever they want. And then you also took kids out of school. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like a lot of things that happen, it's not really, I don't think there's a lot of 30, 40-year-old men going around doing it. It's typically young people, young gang members, I don't want to talk bad on gang members like that, but it's like young people who are really influenced by other bad people to do bad things, you know? So I don't think it's as simple as defunding the police. I don't want to support that.
Murders are at their worst in 15 years in Los Angeles. I mean, it's not like this is just something that people made up because they like guns.
I'd rather be a suspect than a victim.
Tell them.
That's it.
And you're telling everybody that you're a lick right now, by talking about how you don't have anything to protect yourself in the house.
Facts. No, and that's the thing. It's maybe it's people who grow up outside of LA or just outside of people who know people who really do stuff like this. But when you realize how someone who's a criminal, they don't think like a civilian. They don't hear things like this. They say, oh, she doesn't have a weapon. Oh, you leave your door unlocked. Oh, you're not going to be home for a week. They see that as opportunities. They don't see that as empty statements, you know? So you can't just break it down so simply like it's just a moral code.
That's true.
That's all it's going to take us one time. You're going to be right here agreeing with us.
Hey,
Yeah.
You been to the gun range before?
Yes.
Right situation.
How was it? Who took you?
Honestly, I think guns are a lot harder than I thought they were going to be. Tried out a different bunch of them. Some had really crazy recoil. It's so loud. Like, I think even if someone was to rob me, my skill with a gun would honestly put me in more danger. Right? Like, by the time that I'm just trying to remember to take the safety off, trying to remember how to hold it properly, like, I'm gonna be...
She hit me in the bitch. Hold on. Lame ass nigga.
They're just like oh, I left the
Look,
bullets
she
out
knew
because
she
I
finna-
wanted to be safe. I'm gonna try and find my bullets now.
But that
for me,
yeah.
like, keeping a metal baseball bat next to my bed is easier and probably safer.
It's easier and probably 100% ineffective in an actual situation where somebody comes
don't know
into your
why.
house with a gun. My thing is,
Even in that same scenario, we could add this. If you throw it back the same logic to what she just said, oh, I'm scared that somebody's gonna come rob me, so I keep a baseball bat by my house. What is the difference between you saying I think someone's gonna come rob me, so I keep a gun? Like, please tell me where's the disconnect?
I feel you because the first couple of times I shotgun at the gun
So
range,
let's just say someone
I
does
felt
come,
like,
yeah.
okay, this is scary. Like I'm not like it's weird having to memorize this sort of series of things, and it's not something you can just fuck with. You have to go to a special place to shoot it because it is so dangerous. That's why people do go to the gun range on a consistent basis to practice and make sure that they're up to speed because it's a weird hobby. Like, you know, if you like to skateboard, you could just go out in the yard here and fuck around with your skateboard and learn to kickflip, right?
Right.
If you want to be a person who carries a gun, you owe it to yourself to spend a decent amount of time
I get that,
practicing.
but I fully believe that if someone wanted to rob my house and they came in with a gun, whether I had a gun or not, I would get robbed. Like, I would. I'm not.
Bitch, that's you. That shit ain't me, my nigga. That ain't me. That's not me. I ain't going out like that. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
But
I'm
it's
not
like your
tough.
lack of confidence in your ability to use a firearm properly is sort of allowing you to just be like, all right, I'll let somebody kill and rape me. Fuck it. I'll just,
I mean, we're not talking about killing and
Me and my
raping,
family.
okay? But people, like, you talk about as if there's this like mentality of people just coming in, robbing people, raping them, and then killing them on a mass
It's called
level.
flu flam, and it's a real thing. A lot of our favorite rappers have written.
He said it's called flu flamming. I'm a flu flammer, nigga. All these chains on my neck. I need 2 hammers, nigga.
Entire albums about
I
it.
promise you it's happening.
Not the
very
raping
often.
part, but the shooting
It's
and
it's happening very often.
Maybe it's just not my circles then. Maybe
This is-
Yeah,
like my
that's true.
circles
That's true.
I don't know anyone
That's
that
true.
knows anyone that has been robbed, raped, and murdered in their home. Like, I personally don't.
Okay, well, the raping part I agree is extra.
Yeah,
that's a
that's-
certain type of sicko. But the people who want to just rob your house, that's pretty common.
Yeah,
Especially
and
if
I
they
would
know
let them rob me.
you have $5,000 in your house. You have you have
Look,
a wedding ring that's worth $20,000,
even-
etc. I mean, you're a target.
Even if I was walking down the street, going down, and someone decides to mug me, my choice would always be to hand over my wallet because my life is the most important. I don't want to put my life at risk by doing some bravado thing where I'm trying to.
Again, I think she speaks from the place of a woman. Again, like I was saying in other videos, women have a luxury of you can choose whether or not to protect yourself. And I think obviously men can choose or not to, but as a man, it's your job to protect your woman. You know, it's your job to make sure she's safe. When you get mugged or something like that, she's going to look for you to see what you do. She's going to follow what you do. So at the end of the day, I think, again, it's her perspective, so I'm not going to completely say that she's wrong, but she's a woman, and it's obviously pleading into her case.
To defend myself when I know most likely any guy, because pretty much any guy can overpower me very easily, like physically. Like,
Have you
I just
seen-
don't see the point in
More
putting my
reason.
life at risk like that.
Have you
I would
seen
just be
John
like, you
Wick?
know what, here you go, here's my wallet, here's the stuff, let me go, and then fuck, that sucks. But that's how I take it because
world.
that is
because
the safest way for me personally to stay safe.
Have you seen John
But
Wick?
there's people who literally get killed after they get their stuff over. It can there's
that's-
people are just like
I get that. But like, I think in that situation, if I was to try and fight back, my chances of getting killed goes much higher. So I'm gonna take
even
the
if you
path
carry
of
a
like
gun.
most
Even
safety.
if you carry a gun, there are situations in which somebody should do something violent towards you, and you should still choose not to do it. Like, for example, I saw a clip of Hot Wings Cafe in Ventura, I believe, and there's a guy sitting there eating with his girl, and the dude just sort of comes up to him and puts the gun to him, and he does not have 1 second to reach for his own gun if he were to have one, etc. The guy just straight up puts the gun in his face. The dude hands over his Rolex, his girl hands over a watch or whatever it was, and the fucking robbers leave. And it was crazy because when I'm watching it, I'm like, if that was me, and even if I had my gun in my fucking pocket ready to go, I would have handed over my Rolex if I wore a Rolex, because if I had reached into my pocket to get a gun, then he's gonna shoot me dead. And so in that situation, you're right. It probably is easier for you to just.
So like, how many situations? How many situations am I gonna be in where me reaching for a gun and trying to protect myself is actually the safer option?
Okay.
I don't think me as a person has that many opportunities.
Let me just break it down for a completely logical level. If someone breaks into my house, you think it would be better for me to not have a gun, even though they have a gun?
I think so.
Clearly it would be better.
She is ridiculous. He couldn't even let her say it. Right when this nigga said it, he said it. She said, "I think," he said, "Clearly, it would be better for me to have a gun." He didn't even let the bitch answer.
For me to have a gun.
No, because I think a lot of people.
You're actually saying no to that, because I can't really respect that opinion. That's
Maybe
insane.
okay. First of all, don't have a criminal mindset. Not really sure how criminals think. That might affect this somewhat. But I feel like if I'm someone with a gun, I'm just gonna pretend I'm a criminal. But if I was someone with a gun and then I went into a house and then there's like a bunch of like a family and they're all like, "Oh my god, please take whatever you want," versus I come into a gun and then there's some guy gung ho is like, he picks up a gun, I'm gonna panic and then I'm gonna shoot. Right?
Most
like,
people, when they
out of
break into a
those-
house, they don't actually want to catch a murder charge. That's one important thing.
Sure, but then they're gonna panic when they see a gun back at them. Would they rather catch a murder charge or be dead?
I mean, those are two very, very different
Right,
options.
because
Like a person
if
breaking
they go-
into a house,
if
that's
they seem
rarely
like
going to
they-
be the two
if
options.
If they go up against a family that's like surrendering and their family's just like, take whatever you want, you know, they're not gonna feel like I have to murder these people.
I'm surprised by the extent to which you seem okay with being a victim. It's a very non-American
not
idea.
that- It's not that they choose
You know,
That is very interesting. I wonder if that is how other people think outside of America, because I think in America, you don't want to be a victim. Like at the end, I think, especially maybe when you don't have a great police system, this is what happens. But if someone robs me, I feel like they could rob me again. And I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's an American thing, but being robbed specifically one time isn't just about being robbed that one time. It's about this feeling of now I feel unprotected completely. And I think that would make me get more protection.
No,
not that
you
they
say
choose
that I have
that,
a
though.
victim mentality, but I say Americans have a paranoia mentality. Okay,
I'll take that.
right? Because you guys are all like, people are gonna come rob me. I have to have a gun to defend myself. I literally read a news article the other day when this guy, like, I don't know what, like, he was some guy and he thought someone broke into his house, so he shot them, and it was just his toddler that came out of the bedroom because like they had a nightmare or
I
some
saw
shit,
that
right?
story.
If
And then,
somebody's
like,
2
that-
feet
like,
tall and you
that's
shoot
what
them,
I'm
you got a
saying.
problem.
But like that's the mentality you guys have. Your mentality is like, oh my god, someone could rob me at any time and I need to get my gun and I'm gonna shoot them, and then you shoot your child, right? So that's a paranoia mentality, and I prefer to have a defeatist mentality or whatever, where I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna assume no one's gonna rob me, and if someone robs me, holy shit,
There is
that's
a
pretty
middle
shit.
ground
But
between
I'm
carrying
going
a
to
gun
just be okay.
and murdering your child.
Right.
That seems like an extreme example of
And yet
one
it happens.
asshole.
Especially, but again, see, in her arguments, honestly, I think it's trash because then you can say, well, someone's definitely been murdered during a robbery before. That happens. And I feel like that probably happens more than the situation that she has said. So if we're just going off stuff that happens, then we can say anything goes.
It happens.
It
though.
happens,
It happens
but
more than once.
Just because you carry a gun doesn't mean you have to shoot your toddler.
No, but I'm saying that's the mentality.
No.
And then let's take it back to how many people really have guns, how many guns are in households, and how many times that really happens, you know? Again, story on the news didn't really, I've never heard of that, so it didn't really go viral. And so, which is surprising, but it didn't go viral. It wasn't a crazy big story. And I feel like because people understand that is such a rarity that it couldn't really cause an uproar like it should.
actually
not the
that's
mentality.
actually pretty rare.
Yeah, extremely.
Like
And-
I don't know.
never heard
You guys
that
are all
ever.
sitting here telling me we have to have a gun because someone's going to rob us and I have to protect myself. That
everyone
sounds
I
like
know
that's
carries
what
a gun.
I get.
Everyone I know carries a gun, and
trying
none
to
of them
tell
have killed a toddler.
In certain,
I'm not saying
in
you're
certain
killing a toddler,
areas
but
and
I'm
cultures
saying
and
it's
how
the
you grow,
mentality.
you literally.
If you're gonna tell me that-
Look at her, bro. She freaking out. She's low key upset, but she can't even. She crazy.
And I have a
Let her
victim
talk.
mentality. I'm going to say you're paranoid.
Like, depending on where you're from and where you grew up, like, it actually is common like that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I've personally been robbed at gunpoint. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Did you have a gun?
At the time, no, I didn't.
Did you survive?
If I did, no,
Clearly
because I
she
gave him my
survived.
stuff over because
Exactly.
I didn't have a gun at the
Right,
very
so
time.
you didn't have a gun, you got robbed, and you
and now I have a
survived.
gun everywhere.
She feels like it's and this is so weird. She really feels like it's almost okay to get. Not saying it's okay to get robbed, but that like once that we should put ourselves in a position where if we do get robbed, there's nothing we should be able to do.
But you think that it would
I
be?
bet I won't get robbed.
You think that when someone put a gun in her face, that she would have been better off not having a gun?
Well, I mean,
That's
her
what
not,
bizarre-
that's
not
bizarre
her,
logic.
That's the
her
logic.
not,
That's the
not
logic
her
we're
not
trying to
having a
figure out.
gun. So far, 1 for 1, she survived. Let's see you get robbed, and you point a
Every
gun
t-
at them now, and then we'll
and-
come back and
and
see
guess
how
what?
it
I
goes.
never
Like
got
that'll be
robbed having a
statistically,
gun.
we'll see. So the robbery
Never got robbed
happened,
having a gun.
Yeah,
but
like,
that's you haven't got robbed yet whilst having a gun.
I
But
think
I'm just
about
saying,
my time
Did
spent.
they know? Did they
Harriet,
know you
think about
absolutely
it.
didn't have a
Harriet,
gun?
think about it. I worked on Melrose for all those years. I had this store, and there's
I
people
know
coming
it's
through
crazy.
all the time. Hella money, hella chains, etc. Nice
That's
ass clothes.
another thing.
And a lot of times I would be looking at them, and I would be thinking to myself, these motherfuckers would be robbed already
If they didn't have guns.
people didn't know. And it's not like they're flashing their guns. It's not like they woke up that morning and put their gun on their Instagram story. But anybody with half a fucking brain would probably assume that there's a
When
couple
you-
guns in this group of dudes.
When you see this, you know it come with it.
It's
Yeah.
preventative. It's like, we can't just live in a society where we let only bad people have guns. And
I
you seem to
think-
be very, very okay with that, which I'm really surprised by.
No, I think it's just the difference in our cultures, in American gun mentality.
Your culture
and
has
European.
no guns.
I know.
That's why it's easy.
That's why I'm
It's easy to
saying
not
that.
have a gun when there's like
So
5
I'm not
murders in
saying-
England every year.
I'm not saying that I think Americans
murders.
should get all over. Like, I'm not saying America should get rid of guns. I truly believe.
She's dumb because she is saying America should get rid of all guns, but she just doesn't want to say that out loud. Look at her face, bro. She looks so weird.
Believe that your country is beyond that now.
Yes.
I believe gun culture
Look at her face, bro. What is she looking at? Like, oh my God. What does she look? She looked disgusted. Ugh.
is too entrenched, and I believe that the moment that you did not do something after Sandy Hook happened was the moment that all hope was lost for the gun thing, right? Because we had guns in England, right? And then
Well, my thing is like this. So if say you do come through and you take the guns, does that mean you bring the military to every single house in America and take the guns? Is that what we're gonna do? Is that the safest option? Because now you're because again, you think everyone's gonna give up their guns willingly? You think just because you outlaw them, people are gonna say, "Oh, well, all right, we're done." You get what I'm saying? So again, it's like, yeah, I think the argument itself is bad. There's nothing much you can really do. It's kind of just a talk, just to have a talk, but it's a talk. It's basically a conversation with no solution. And so we'll end the video there. I want to hear what y'all think about it. What do y'all feel about gun control? Do y'all think that that we should take the guns? Do y'all think that it's smart for everybody to have guns? I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments. Podcasts come out on Fridays. Too Fly Shy, man. Fucking with your boy. Stay fly.